Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we are going to be taking a look at active recovery.
Ooh,
We've got some sources here from Medical News Today, a fitness apparel company, and even a bodybuilding website.
okay.
So we'll be looking at stuff from like athletes to just everyday people.
Nice, nice. So like a good range.
Yeah, so let's get right into it. I guess the first thing is like, what is active recovery?
Yeah, so active recovery, it's basically the idea that, instead of just like totally vegging out after a workout,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing some sort of light activity to kind of help boost your recovery.
Okay, so what kind of like, what are we picturing here? Like, what kind of activities are we talking?
Yeah, good question.
Wow.
So, we're talking low intensity stuff after a workout.
Okay.
So think like, gentle cool down, keep the blood flowing,
Okay.
but without like stressing your body even more.
Gotcha, gotcha. So like not pushing yourself further, but more just like helping your body like recover and get ready for the next.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And there's some pretty interesting benefits to this approach.
Okay.
Like, for example, our sources talk a lot about the impact of active recovery on lactic acid.
Mm-hmm.
That feeling of like fatigue and soreness after a tough workout.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah, lactic acid is a big part of that.
Okay.
So basically, during intense exercise,
Mm.
your body produces lactic acid as a byproduct.
Okay.
And as it builds up, it leads to that, muscle fatigue and soreness and things like that.
Hmm.
And active recovery can help clear that out more efficiently so you're not as stiff and sore afterwards.
Okay, so it's like helping your body recover faster.
Yeah, it's like giving your muscles a jump start on that recovery process.
Gotcha.
But it's not just about lactic acid.
Hmm.
Active recovery also increases blood flow to your muscles,
Okay.
which, delivers nutrients and oxygen and helps remove waste products.
Okay.
It's like replenishing your muscles after they've been working hard.
I was reading in one of the sources that active recovery can like even help reduce like muscle tears, like those tiny little.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
Yeah, so when you do some light activity, it actually helps repair those little micro tears in the muscle fibers.
Oh wow.
And less muscle damage equals less pain and faster recovery.
Okay, so that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So we talked about active recovery, and it sounds like a good thing.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's also just like passive recovery, like just complete rest.
Right, right.
So how do we know which one's better? Or like, does it depend on the situation?
Yeah, that's a good question. And that's actually where it gets kind of interesting
Okay.
because the ideal recovery strategy really does depend on like what kind of workout you're doing
Okay.
and your goals. Um, Interestingly, one of the research articles we have actually suggests that for like really short, high intensity exercise like HIIT workouts,
Okay.
passive recovery might actually be better.
Wait, so sometimes doing nothing is better.
Yeah,
Oh.
sometimes it might seem counterintuitive, but it has to do with like your energy systems.
Okay.
So you see, for those like short bursts of really intense effort, your body relies a lot on this compound called phosphocreatine,
Okay.
and passive recovery helps maintain those phosphocreatine levels.
Okay.
So it means your body's like ready for that next round of high intensity effort.
Okay, so for like, if you're doing like quick bursts of energy, passive is better, but for other stuff, active.
Right. Yeah. So if you're not doing those like short all out bursts,
Mm-hmm.
active recovery is usually going to be a more efficient recovery method.
Gotcha.
It helps clear out the lactic acid faster. It restores your pH balance, which is important for your muscles to function properly.
Okay, so if my workout is more about like endurance or strength, active is the way to go.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay.
It's all about like working with your body's recovery systems,
Mm-hmm.
not against them.
I like that.
One thing that stood out to me when we were looking at this stuff was this idea that rest days don't have to be completely inactive.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, so rest days are still super important,
Mm-hmm.
but incorporating some light activities can actually help you recover better.
Okay.
So it's like active rest.
Yeah.
You're keeping your circulation going, but without putting too much stress on your muscles.
Okay. So not like hitting the gym hard, but just doing some light stuff.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
But some of the sources even mention like walking or stretching or even flying a kite.
Flying a kite.
I know, right?
That's not the first thing I think of when I think of fitness.
But it kind of illustrates the point
Yeah.
perfectly.
Okay.
Active recovery is about finding enjoyable activities that get you moving gently. It doesn't have to be complicated or super intense.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about just listening to your body and choosing activities that make you feel good.
Okay, so that's rest days.
Yeah.
What about I know this is the thing. Active recovery between sets
Heck.
of interval training.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So you know how you normally just like completely rest
Right.
between sets of like high intensity intervals?
And some experts are saying that continuing to move at a very low intensity
Mm-hmm.
can actually help you recover faster than just like complete rest.
Yeah.
So like if I'm doing sprints, instead of just standing there, I should like walk around or do some light jogging.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
It keeps your blood flowing, helps clear out that lactic acid.
That's wild. I always thought complete rest was best.
Yeah, it's a common misconception, but
Right.
active recovery between sets, it's not about pushing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's just maintaining a little bit of activity
Got
to help you recover.
This is really making me rethink my whole workout routine.
Good, good.
What about cool downs?
Okay, yeah.
I always thought cool downs were just stretching.
Yeah, so stretching is definitely part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the type of cool down you do can actually make a big difference.
Okay.
Research shows that an active cool down, so where you're still moving at a moderate pace,
Okay.
can actually be more beneficial than just passively stretching or resting. So instead of just like plopping down after a run, I should do some light jogging or walking.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
There's one study we found that even just 10 minutes of active recovery at like 50 to 60% of your max effort
Okay.
had really good effects on athletes' recovery.
Okay, so it's all about finding that balance between like pushing yourself,
Yeah.
but also letting your body recover.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. Yeah.
I like that.
It's about working smarter, not harder,
Okay.
to maximize your recovery and get the most out of your workouts.
I'm really liking this.
Good.
So we talked about like rest days, active recovery between sets,
Mm-hmm.
active cool downs.
Yeah.
It seems like there's like a lot of different ways to like incorporate this stuff
Yeah, absolutely.
into a workout routine.
Yeah, and we've only just scratched the surface, you know.
Okay.
There's a bunch of different activities that can help, like walking, swimming, cycling, yoga.
That's what I was hoping we'd get into.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that more. But before we do, I think it's important to talk about like precautions,
Okay.
because we want to make sure we're doing this safely and effectively.
That's a good point. I'm all for active recovery, but I definitely don't want to like injure myself.
Right.
So what should we be thinking about?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So we've talked about how great active recovery can be,
Yeah.
but obviously there's things to watch out for.
Yeah.
So like when should we like not be doing active recovery?
Yeah, well, I mean, the big one is if you have a sports injury,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like pushing through pain is never a good idea.
Yeah.
And active recovery could make an injury worse.
Yeah, for sure. So like how can someone tell if they have a sports injury?
Right. Well, pain's the most obvious one.
Yeah.
Like if you're feeling pain during or after exercise,
Okay.
that's like a big red flag.
Mm-hmm.
You might also notice like swelling or stiffness,
Okay.
or if you can't move as freely as usual.
Yeah.
And if it's like tender to the touch, that's another sign that something might be wrong.
So if you notice any of those things, just rest.
Yeah. It's always better to be safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely a good idea to talk to a doctor or a physical therapist
Okay.
if you think you might have an injury.
That makes sense.
They can help you figure out what's going on and how to treat it properly.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we should talk more about these specific active recovery activities.
Okay, yeah.
That we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, for sure.
Like walking, swimming, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get into that.
Yeah, me too. It's cool because it's all very accessible.
Yeah.
You know, we're not talking about fancy equipment or anything.
Yeah.
It's stuff that anyone can do,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah,
You're
totally.
like walking, swimming, cycling, yoga, even foam rolling.
Mm-hmm.
It might seem intimidating at first,
Yeah.
but it's actually pretty easy to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can find tons of videos and articles online.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of stuff about that.
Yeah, so you don't need to be a fitness expert to do it.
Okay, cool, cool. So how about we go through some examples? Like how can our listeners actually use this stuff?
Sure, yeah. So let's say you're a runner and you just did some interval training.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just crashing on the couch, you could go for a walk, like 15, 20 minutes at a relaxed pace.
Okay.
That'll help flush out the lactic acid, reduce soreness,
Okay.
keep
so-
your blood flowing.
Gotcha. So it's like easing your body back into rest.
Exactly.
Okay. What about swimming?
Yeah, so for swimming, you could do a few laps at a really easy pace,
Okay.
just focusing on long, smooth strokes.
I like how these activities can actually be fun.
Right.
It's not like another chore or anything.
Yeah, that's important. It's got to be enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
It's about finding movement that feels good
Yeah.
and recharges you, both physically and mentally.
I was actually going to ask about cycling.
Okay, yeah.
What would a recovery ride look like?
Yeah, so it could be as simple as like riding along a bike path,
Okay.
enjoying the fresh air, the scenery.
Mm.
Key is to keep the legs spinning, but not pushing a hard gear.
Okay.
Just easy, comfortable pedaling.
Gotcha. Now, what about for people who are more into weights?
Right, good question.
Like, how does this fit into a weightlifting routine?
So one way is to do active recovery between sets.
Oh,
So
right.
like if you're doing squats, you could walk around the gym or do some light cardio,
Okay.
like jumping jacks, high knees, stuff like that.
So just keep moving instead of resting completely.
Exactly.
Okay.
Keeps your heart rate up a bit.
Gotcha.
Muscles engaged, which helps with recovery.
And I guess it helps with keeping your body warm, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Another idea is to have specific days for active recovery,
Okay.
especially if you're training really hard.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of going all out every day,
Yeah.
you have a day or two where you do lighter activities.
Okay. Like rest days, but not really rest days.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love that.
So you can do yoga, swimming, a long walk, anything that gets you moving
Yeah.
but doesn't push you too hard.
It's like a little vacation for your muscles.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay. I like that.
And it's important to remember it's not about setting personal records
Right.
or pushing your limits.
Yeah.
It's about moving in a way that feels good
Mm-hmm.
and helps you recover.
So we've talked a lot about the physical benefits.
Yeah.
What about the mental and emotional side of things?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Like, does active recovery have an impact on that too?
Absolutely. It's not just about your muscles, it's about your mind, too.
Okay.
Even low-intensity exercise can really affect your mood, your stress levels,
Mm-hmm.
your overall well-being.
Yeah, like I find a long walk in nature to be super restorative.
Yeah, that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
And there's research that shows that being in nature can reduce anxiety, improve sleep,
Oh, wow.
boost cognitive function.
Okay.
So active recovery that gets you outside is like a double win.
I like that. And even if you can't get outside, like yoga or stretching can be really calming.
Absolutely. Yoga especially is known for that mind-body connection.
Yeah.
It combines movement with mindfulness
Mm-hmm.
and deep breathing,
Mm-hmm.
which can help lower stress hormones,
Okay.
calm your nervous system,
Yeah.
improve emotional regulation.
So it's like a form of self-care.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's about taking care of yourself, showing your body and mind some love.
I love that.
It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and forget about recovery.
Yeah, for sure.
But taking time for active recovery is like nurturing yourself,
Mm-hmm.
supporting your overall health.
I think that's really important.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, one thing I keep thinking about is how individual this all is.
Yeah,
What works for one person might not work for another.
absolutely. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to active recovery.
So how can people figure out what's best for them?
Yeah, so it's all about experimenting
Okay.
and paying attention to how your body responds.
Yep.
So try out some of the things we've talked about.
Okay.
See how you feel. Like, do you have more energy?
Less muscle soreness.
Yeah.
Just feeling better overall.
Okay, so it's all about tuning in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to adjust things as you go.
Yeah.
If something feels too hard or you're not enjoying it, try something else.
Okay.
The point is to find activities that you actually like and that help you recover.
So it goes back to that body awareness.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The more you know your body,
Mm.
the better you'll be at finding the right active recovery strategies.
So interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
Okay, this has been such a great conversation so far. I
Yeah.
feel like we've covered so much,
I have.
but there's definitely more to talk about.
Yeah, there are some myths about active recovery that I think we should address.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I have some more tips, too, from the experts.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so I think we're ready to tackle some of those active recovery myths.
Yeah, let's do it. You know, one that I hear pretty often is that active recovery means you're not really resting. Yeah, like if you're not on the couch with your feet up, you're not actually recovering.
Exactly. And we've talked about this, but it's important to remember active recovery, is a form of rest.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a smarter approach, you know? It's about choosing things that help your body recover
Right.
without adding more stress.
So instead of like turning off completely,
Yeah,
you're just switching to a different mode.
that's a great way to put it.
Mm.
Another misconception is that it's only for serious athletes.
Yeah, I can see why people would think that.
Right.
But it seems like it could be beneficial for anyone who works out.
Totally. It doesn't matter if you're training for a marathon or just trying to stay active.
Okay.
Active recovery can help you recover faster, avoid injuries, and perform better overall.
So it's not about how hard you work out. It's
Mhm.
about recovering smarter.
Exactly. Yeah. And here's another myth I want to debunk. Active recovery doesn't have to be boring.
Yeah, people probably think it's all treadmills and ellipticals.
Right, but remember we've been talking about walking, swimming, yoga, hiking,
Okay.
all sorts of fun stuff.
So you want to find activities you actually like.
Yes, exactly. If you hate running, don't jog as your active recovery.
Yeah.
Find something you enjoy, and you'll get more out of it.
Awesome. Okay, so we've busted those myths. What about those expert tips for getting the most out of active recovery?
Okay, well, first things first,
Hmm.
listen to your body.
It's all about that, isn't it?
It really is the key to recovery. Your body knows what it needs.
Hmm.
If you're sore, tired, or just not feeling it, maybe you need more rest or a gentler activity.
And if you're feeling good and energetic, you can push a little more.
Exactly. Find that balance
That
between
balance.
challenge and recovery.
I feel like sleep is a big part of this too.
Oh, absolutely. Sleep is crucial for recovery.
Mhm.
That's when your body really repairs and rebuilds itself.
Right.
Shoot for 7 to 9 hours of good sleep every night to recover properly.
I love naps,
Me too. They can make a huge difference.
especially when you're feeling drained.
Definitely. You know, and we've talked about hydration too.
Mhm.
Water is so important for recovery.
Okay, how so?
It helps transport nutrients to your muscles,
Okay.
flushes out waste, regulates temperature.
Right.
Make sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day, especially when you're working out.
What about food? What should we be eating to help our bodies recover?
Yeah, good question. Protein is super
Mhm.
important
Okay.
for muscle repair or growth.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you're eating protein-rich foods.
Okay, like what kinds of things?
Oh, meat, fish, eggs, dairy, beans, lentils, tofu. There's tons of options.
Lots of good stuff.
And don't forget about carbs.
Right, right. Got to fuel those muscles.
Exactly. They replenish your energy stores.
Okay, so like fruits, veggies, whole grains, all that.
Yep, exactly.
Mm.
And healthy fats are important too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Things like avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil,
Okay.
they can actually help reduce inflammation and keep you healthy.
So basically just eat a balanced diet.
Pretty much, yeah. It's important for every aspect of fitness, really.
Mm-hmm. What about supplements? Do those help?
Some people find them helpful, like BCAAs or glutamine,
Okay.
but supplements should really just be an addition to a healthy diet.
Right, not a replacement.
Exactly. And it's always best to talk to your doctor before starting any new supplements.
That's good advice. Okay, any final thoughts on active recovery?
I think the most important thing is to be patient.
Oh, okay.
Recovery takes time, and everyone's different.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get discouraged if you don't see results right away.
Ah,
Just stick with it, listen to your body,
yeah.
and trust the process.
Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive into active recovery.
It has, yeah.
We learned that it's more than just resting, it's about actively helping your body bounce back.
It's a proactive approach to recovery.
And it's not just for elite athletes.
Nope, it's for everyone.
Yeah, anyone who exercises can benefit from it.
Absolutely.
We've talked about so many different activities, and I think the key takeaway is to find what you enjoy.
Yeah, what feels good for your body.
To pay attention to those signals your body is sending you.
Yes, exactly.
Fuel your body with good food, prioritize sleep.
All important stuff.
So as we wrap up, we want to leave you with this question. What kind of active recovery are you going to try?
Yeah, how are you going to make it part of your routine?
There's no right or wrong answer, just experiment and see what works for you.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into active recovery. We'll see you next time.
See us.